Morning everybody, how are y'all doing today? I'm doing great because I've been playing a ton of Halo Infinite recently. I think the footage you're watching right now is still from Season 4. But damn it, Season 5 is so good. What do you know, all it took was a change of leadership at 343 and all of a sudden Halo Infinite goes from mediocre to great. But whatever, that's not what we're here to talk about today. We're here to talk about Dreamcast Guy because while I may be doing great, it really doesn't seem like Dreamcast Guy is. Because obviously, as you all know by now, the Microsoft Activision deal has officially gone through. It's finally over. And Dreamcast Guy, though he may try to hide his bias, is very visibly upset in this video. And I mean, taking a look at the backlog of all the videos he's made on this, you'll notice that any video where he talks about the deal potentially being dead is a much more happy video. He'll kind of have a smile on his face throughout it. And like with this video right here, the Microsoft deal is dead! Exclamation mark. It's very obvious he did not want this to go through. Anytime the deal was halted for whatever reason, he would always say, oh, the deal is dead, which obviously was in fact. But anyway, today we're just going to take a look at his most recent video talking about the Activision deal. And as with all other Dreamcast Guy videos, there's a lot of fluff in this one. So I didn't include the whole thing. It's spliced up, so if it jumps around at certain parts, that's why. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into this.
What's up, gamers? Dreamcast Guy here, talking today about the Microsoft Activision Blizzard deal because it is now officially done. It is completely finished. As of about 10 minutes ago, officially, Microsoft owns Call of Duty and World of Warcraft and Diablo and is now going to put it in their cabinet with all the other game studios they've bought, like Rare and Doom and freaking everything else like Skyrim. But I want to discuss this because in this instant fallout, it does feel like a lot of gamers are debating whether this deal is going to be good or bad in the long run.
Well, I can confidently say right now this will be a good thing in the long run. More subscription services are going to get Activision games. Call of Duty will be coming to the Switch and Activision games will be coming to the cloud. And Sony won't be able to do any more exclusivity stuff with Activision. So guess what that means? In the future, when Call of Duty betas come out, we can actually all play them at the same time. PC and Xbox gamers won't have to wait a week. But remember how I was saying, oh, he seems so much more optimistic in his videos where he thinks it's going to get blocked? Yeah, let me go ahead and play a clip from that and just notice how much happier he is in that video than he is in this one.
Whenever we first heard about this merger of Activision Blizzard, World of Warcraft and Candy Crush and everything else getting rolled into the Xbox Game Pass brand would have been a massive win, and PlayStation seems to have managed to convince them otherwise. Now,
you see what I mean? He can't even help but laugh while he's saying it. He's trying so hard not to smile, it's ridiculous. And he just seems so depressed in this video. And I don't know why, because as he admits later on in the video, he has an Xbox, he has Game Pass, he has a PC. I don't get why he's so upset about this. Then again, I could say that about any fanboy, so I guess let's just keep going.
And I'll be honest, I wasn't sure this deal would actually get done. When they initially announced this buyout in January of 2022, it seemed pretty open and shut. I mean, they said they were going to buy it for $69 billion. I thought they would just walk up with a briefcase full of cash and do it. But instead, this acquisition was slowed down by 20 months.
No. We need to make an important distinction here. It's not that you didn't think it was going to happen. It's that you didn't want it to happen. Maybe you not wanting it to happen also led to you thinking it wasn't going to happen. But honestly, I don't see how anybody could have thought this wasn't going to go through. We've seen throughout this whole thing, there was no good reason for why they couldn't buy Activision. But no, they're not just going to walk up with a briefcase full of cash and buy them. That's not how this works. This stuff has to get approved first, which I think we've all learned about that by now. This whole thing was like the world's worst lesson on mergers.
For a lot of this year, I've said this in videos, I was actually pretty sure the deal would get blocked, or I was kind of assuming that because of these crazy long battles, I thought that maybe they would break it into chunks. I thought maybe that Microsoft would end up buying Call of Duty and leaving behind Blizzard. In fact, that was the main thing that was being talked about by lawyers in court.
No, that was definitely not going to happen. I don't know why you thought that. Activision wasn't going to slowly sell themselves off. The whole company wanted to be sold if they just sold their most valuable IP, but then still had to stay around and wait for the rest of the company to get bought out. I don't know. Something about that just doesn't seem like a very good idea to me. But to say that you were pretty sure this was going to get blocked is a bit of an understatement. You definitively said in one of your videos that it's blocked, it's over. Oh, what's that? You guys don't believe me? Here, take a look for yourself.
And now the Activision Blizzard deal is officially blocked. It's done. Microsoft is not buying Call of Duty, but they did manage to make some concessions and get this all done, which officially makes Microsoft the third largest gaming company in the world, right behind Tencent. Yay, Tencent. Don't we love the fact that some giant mega conglomerate is just buying up game studios?
Not just Tencent and Sony. It says it right there. Say and Sony, Dreamcast Guy. Come on, do it. They're the third largest behind Tencent and Sony, which it's still absolutely hilarious to me that people unironically thought Microsoft was going to be a monopoly after this. Even after the deal, they are behind Tencent and Sony. I mean, as the ponies love to say, they are still in third place even after this deal, but yet somehow they're a monopoly at the same time. But here's the thing, I'm about to go full like English teacher for a second, but it's about like the little details. He says right behind Tencent and then highlights Tencent, but then Sony's right there and he doesn't highlight them. I wonder why that is. And no, it wasn't an accident, but whatever, let's just keep going.
Bobby Kotick is still going to be in charge, and obviously he's a jerk, but people are talking about the fact that, is this a monopolization of the industry? Microsoft has literally trillions of dollars, and they've talked about having so much money.
No, they don't have trillions of dollars. They are worth trillions of dollars. And double no, this is not a monopolization. You just read off that article that they are still in third place. You cannot be a monopoly and also be in third place, because a monopoly would mean Microsoft would have little to no competition, and as a result, they could set prices to be whatever they please. Typically, you have to own over 50% of an industry to even be considered a monopoly. In fact, if you guys want to do some more research on what exactly is defined as a monopoly, go to ftc.gov. They explain how they look into different companies and what exactly defines a monopoly. Until Microsoft owns more than 50% of the gaming industry, they will not be a monopoly. And trust me, Activision may be huge, but they are nowhere near 50% of the industry.
Microsoft has also admitted that they are not profitable. Xbox has pretty much never really been in the green. They're always losing money. They're just buying studios because they're hoping that eventually it makes money.
Wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong. You're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong.
Maybe I should watch Scrubs at some point, considering how many memes I use. If anybody can recommend it, then I guess I'll check it out. But I have no idea where you're getting this idea that Xbox isn't profitable, Dreamcast Guy. If you just look up, is Xbox profitable, the only results that come up are saying that it is profitable. Now, obviously, they lose money on hardware sales, but they make up for that with software, and I guess other non-console hardware. Controllers, headphones, that sort of stuff. If Xbox was not profitable, they would have shut it down by now, or at least transitioned to being third party only. They certainly wouldn't be investing $69 billion into Activision and $7 billion into Bethesda. That sounds like a great idea. Hey guys, our gaming division isn't profitable, so instead of closing it down or just going third party and not making consoles, let's blow $80 million on buying more companies and just hope to God that in the future we're profitable. Like, does this actually sound right to you? Look, I'm not a business major, I'm not a CEO or anything, in case it wasn't blatantly obvious by now, but spending $100 billion on game studios and just hoping you're profitable in the future doesn't seem like the smartest move to me.
as big as Call of Duty is, as big as World of Warcraft and Diablo are and stuff like that, I am concerned that their size, their unwieldiness of these studios are what are going to cause Microsoft to possibly start doing mass firings. Now, I'm recording this on Friday the 13th in October. I'm just time stamping this because I'm 99.9% sure this is going to happen next year, so consider this my crystal ball moment. These companies typically end up buying studios and then firing a bunch of people. Epic Games just did it, obviously, laying off a bunch of people at Mediatronic, firing everybody who made Fall Guys. I mean, this stuff happens constantly.
And now all of a sudden you're concerned about people getting fired? Correct me if I'm wrong, people in the comments, but I don't think Dreamcast Guy ever mentioned concerns over people getting fired before now. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it never happened. But if I'm right, then this just feels like finding anything to complain about. Yes, when two big companies merge, there are going to be layoffs. There's positions that don't need multiple people or multiple departments. You don't need 2 HR departments, for example. Look, it's unfortunate that people are going to lose their jobs over this. I hope they're able to get back on their feet very quickly. But businesses are about making money, so they're gonna fire the people who they don't need. And it's very ironic that you were calling out Epic Games for doing that as well. And you say this is what you're concerned about, when if we go to your recent shorts...
Hey, this video is sponsored by Epic Games. The developers of Alan Wake 2 sent me a mystery package, so let's open it up and see what it's about.
Now, trust me, I understand wanting to get the bag. An Epic sponsorship would be awesome. It's just kind of funny that you're all of a sudden so concerned about layoffs, but yet you'll happily accept a sponsor from a company that just laid off a ton of people. But again, you do you, man. Go get that bag. I'm sure if Raid ever approaches me in the future, that's going to be hard to resist, so who knows.
I'm afraid that when big companies buy stuff out, in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, if it's not instantly turning in a good amount of profit, they start to trim the fat and fire the heck out of the real human people making games. That's kind of my concern when it comes to consolidation. It's not about a lack of competition. It's not about, oh, they have exclusives that won't be on my PC or my PlayStation or my Nintendo Switch. My thought is that I do think that this is going to lead to firings.
Yes, because that's how business works. You don't need 2 HR departments, so you gotta get rid of one. And like I said before, I am 99% sure you haven't expressed concern about this before. If he has, then please let me know. But Dreamcast Guy, if after several years the people working under Xbox still have not turned it around or turned a profit, they honestly deserve to be fired. They're probably doing a terrible job. I mean, think about it. What was it? Earlier this year, 343 got nailed by firings, and then they brought in new people, and now the studio is doing great. Obviously, everybody who works at these companies is a real human, but if you suck at your job, you're gonna get fired. And honestly, what happened with 343 earlier this year should have happened a while ago, because the future of Halo is looking incredibly good now.
Here is the reason I'm still not exactly super thrilled about this. It's not even directly because of the Microsoft deal. It's because now I think it's showing other companies that you can just buy a chunk of the game industry.
Companies already knew you could do this. Oh my god. Do you unironically think that these companies out there who weren't a part of the gaming industry didn't know that they could just buy a company in the gaming industry? Of course they knew this already. This is not a new revelation. And the fact that you're blaming this deal on Disney potentially acquiring EA is laughable. EA and Disney have worked incredibly close together for the last, what, like 10 years or so? But not just their Star Wars games. ESPN is also owned by Disney, and EA has the ESPN license for Madden. So a ton of EA's big games are associated with Disney in some way. It was only a matter of time before Disney planned on buying them. Now, are they going to? I'm not exactly sure. I watched Griffin's video on that whole topic, and he said that Disney is actually like pretty much broke right now, and they may be looking to sell. So if he's right about that, then yeah, I doubt they're actually gonna acquire EA anytime soon. But if they do, that is certainly going to be interesting.
I guess my thought is I do kind of agree here with Ryan McCaffrey. This would be awful for gamers because we basically lived this reality from the last 10 years when there was that 10-year exclusivity window for for Star Wars games. There was almost as many canceled games as released. Disney's current model of licensing its IP to great devs everywhere is the way. And of course, a lot of people are saying like, oh, okay, well, so you like Xbox just buying up studios, but you don't like Disney buying up studios. Literally every reply is just about how...
Yes, and people are okay with that because Microsoft is established in the gaming industry. Disney is not and would likely have no idea what to do. Like, look, people can give Microsoft crap for, managing studios poorly or messing stuff up, but however bad Microsoft is, Disney guaranteed would be like 10 times worse. But man, I just cannot get over the fact that he's blaming this acquisition on the Microsoft Activision deal. Dude, Microsoft didn't show any company anything. These guys already knew you could just buy a chunk of the gaming industry. But guess why most of them don't do it? They either can't afford it or they don't know anything about video games. So it would make no sense for them to buy a gaming studio. But now really quickly before we wrap this video up, I just want to quickly show Dreamcast Guy's confession and moment of self-awareness where he admits he is not very smart. So at least I can give him this one small W. Here it is.
Let's face it, I'm about as intelligent as a ham sandwich, but I appreciate you guys coming along for the ride.
You know what, Dreamcast Guy? No problem at all. I am very happy to be here because I'd imagine this video is going to do quite well. And you know what? Thank you guys for coming along for this ride as well. Because this whole Activision Microsoft thing is what actually started my channel in the first place. And it's absolutely crazy that we've gotten to this point. I thought this was just going to be like a throwaway hobby that I did like 3 videos for and then just stopped. But the support has been relentless. So thank you all so much for that. But anyway, with all that sappy stuff out of the way, let's go ahead and wrap this video up. So yeah, I guess that's gonna do it for this video. What we learned today is Disney buying EA is going to be Microsoft's fault, and on top of that, Dreamcast Guy is just so concerned over people getting fired, despite taking a sponsorship from Epic Games, who just laid off like 800 people. But yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments on the Activision deal. Are you happy that it finally went through? Did you not want it to go through? And are you excited or worried for the future? Be sure to let me know that, and also be sure to like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't like it, subscribe if you want to see more, and I will catch you all next time.